Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me video using as many of the products that I've shown you recently in haul videos as possible. The last time I saw you, I was talking about buying Halloween string lights at Target. I went back and got a second string, and then I tied the two together and changed the formation, and I think it looks pretty, and they're only $3 a box, so it costs $6 to put those lights up, and they change color and really pretty. Hopefully later today I'll get a chance to decorate the rest of my house. I got all my Halloween decorations out sitting in boxes in the living room floor, so hopefully I'll have a chance to do that. If you ever want to see my decorations, because usually I buy like one new thing each year. Like this year I bought these lights, but they don't really change that much from year to year. It's just one additional decoration, but I believe I do have a video up. If you type Halloween in the search box on my channel page, it should come right up if you want to see my whole collection. And I think I put like spooky music with it too, so it was pretty cool. Alright, let's get started because these kind of videos tend to go long. You may have noticed that my hair is way darker. I used a different brand of hair color than what I would normally use, and it came out really, really dark. Much darker than what I wanted, but that's what I get for switching brands. I had gone to the store to buy what I normally buy, and that slot was empty. So I started looking at what other choices there were, and I was like, I've never tried that before. I used Schwarzkopf, and there are a lot of things that I did like about it, but there are also things that I didn't like about it. If you want a product review video on that, let me know in the comment section, because I was actually thinking about doing that today instead of this, but I figured more people would be interested in a makeup video than a hair color video. So let me know if you want me to review that product or not. Alright, so I'm going to try to use as many things as possible from what I've showed you recently. So I'm going to start with Wet n Wild Pout and Kiss, and this is just a clear lip balm. And the next thing I'm going to use is the LA Girl Pro.prep HD High Definition Smoothing Face Primer. And I just apply this with my fingers because you only need a tiny, tiny little bit. It's super concentrated. And I mentioned in my haul video that sometimes it feels like it's balling up a little bit when you blend it. But I think that might have been the product that was at the surface of the tube, because now that I'm past the beginning, I'm not having that problem. So I think it was just the part at the end. There isn't a lot in this tube at all, though. It's really, really, really small amount. But then again, it's so concentrated that you don't need a lot, so yeah, we'll see how long it lasts. So I'm just taking a tiny amount for each section of my face. Okay, that's good. And next I'm going to take the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD High Definition Longwear Illuminating Foundation in Porcelain, and I'm going to mix that with a little bit of the white, because this is a little too orange or peach for my skin. This was the closest thing they had to my color. They didn't have anything pink toned. They didn't have anything neutral. There was this one, which was like a peach color, and then there was Another one that was very, very yellow. The other one was, I can't remember what that was called, either ivory or fair or something like that, but it was really yellow. So I figured if I got this peachy one and just added a little bit of white, then, you know, I could just do that. This palette is from Primark. So I'm going to do one pump, one full pump of the Porcelain foundation. And then I'm going to take just a small amount of the white, not a full pump, but just like the smallest amount that I can pump out of there, just a few drops. And this is just the spatula that comes with the palette. And I'm just gonna mix that up. And they do mix really nice. They mix very easily. So it's not difficult at all to mix. Doesn't take a lot of time. I've been using, for a brush, I've been using with this foundation the NYX number 22 brush. And this is the brush that they recommend for the Total Control Drop Foundation. I feel like this is a fairly liquidy foundation by LA Girl, so this works kind of good. I'm just fluffing up my brush. Now first I'm going to take what was left on the spatula and just wipe that onto the brush and just use that too. Now I'm going to start dipping my brush into the palette, and I'm just taking the bristles on the end because I don't want too much of this in one place at a time on my face. I want to make sure I put plenty on my chin, because that is one of the areas of my face that has a tendency to get a little pink. So I didn't have a chance to film yesterday because I had to color my hair, and that just screws up my whole routine and pushes everything back. But I had some other things I had to do yesterday too. And depending on what I'm using for an eyeshadow primer, I sometimes will take my foundation and blend it into the eye area too. That way you don't need to use as much of an eyeshadow primer. Or sometimes you can even just skip it altogether. It depends on what you're doing for eyeshadows. Today I'm using a pigment, so I will definitely be using an eyeshadow primer so that the pigment will have something to hold on to. Okay, so I just have a little bit left here. So let's see, this area right here looks like it could use some. So that ends up being just about the right amount. Oh, I didn't do my neck. It's really important to take some down underneath your chin onto your neck. Otherwise you can have a contrast in the color. And make sure you blend that area really good. still see a little bit of pink on my chin. So let's just dab a little bit more there. Okay, that's good. All right, next I'm going to use LA Girl Pro.conceal HD High Definition Concealer in Porcelain. This is amazing, you guys. I had it before, but I had it in Classic Ivory. Classic Ivory is a little bit too dark for me. Porcelain is fantastic. I am so glad that I decided to purchase another shade of this. When I saw this in store originally, actually the first time that I shopped for LA Girl, I think they were out of this shade, so I didn't get to see it. But whenever I looked at it online, I always thought that this shade wouldn't work for me. It works just fine. If I could change one thing about this concealer though, I don't really like the squeezy tube applicator. Okay, so I just squeezed a little bit up, and what I'm going to do is take this Sephora Airbrush Concealer Brush in number 57, and I'm going to blend it with this. So I'm just going to put a little bit of concealer on with the brush tip and then blend it with this brush. This is really concentrated, you guys, so be careful how much you use, because if you put too much, it's just going to look crazy. You really don't need a lot. I'm going to squeeze a little bit more up. I'm going to use a little bit more on this side because this is my dark circle that is the worst out of the two. And it's not even really a dark circle so much as it is a deep indentation, so no concealer in the world will cover this up because it's not technically a dark circle. But I mean, you saw what it looked like when I started, and that looks a heck of a lot better now than it did before. And on this side, it looks way better. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of a blemish there, so I'm also just gonna put just what is left on the brush right on that concealer. I mean on the blemish. Okay, now I had gotten away from using powders, but I wanted to try the pressed powder that they have, LA Girl Pro.face HD High Definition Matte Pressed Powder, and this is in the shade Porcelain. And I like this powder, and so far it's not drying out my skin. I have to be careful because my skin is like combination. It's like normal / dry, but it's summer. It's still technically summer and it's warm outside, so I think the only time I would run into a problem with my skin getting too dry from using powder would be more likely to happen in the winter. So I'm just going to use this sponge applicator that comes with it and just swirl it in there, and then just press and pat this onto my skin. If you've never applied powder this way, I highly recommend it. I feel like the finished look that you get is so much better than what you would get with a brush. Unless you're using loose powder, and then I would definitely recommend a brush. But if you like pressed powder, try it with one of these sponges. But you can use a beauty blender too. But I feel like the shape of this makes it easier because it's flat. But see how flawless that is? I really, really like this powder. This is so nice. Okay, so what's next? Next would be the LA Girl Pro Contour Powder. And this has a contour powder and a highlighter. The highlighter is matte, so not really into matte highlight shades. So I'm just going to use the contour. And I'm just going to use this Wet n Wild contour brush. So I'm going to very lightly dip my brush in there and just pick up a small amount of product. Like that. Okay, I'm going to just add a little bit on this side to try to make it more even. Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right, next I'm going to use one of the Wet n Wild palettes that I showed you. Paint palette from the new Halloween collection that's out in a lot of stores right now. Walgreens is probably a best bet for this. Or Rite Aid. Walgreens and Rite Aid are the two places that I have seen these. And this is the one called Bright. So I'm going to go into this palette and I'm going to use this Crazy Fuchsia or Hot Pink blush. And I'm going to use this Sephora Flawless Airbrush number 56. And the reason why I'm using this is not usually a blush brush, is the bristles are very densely packed here. And this is a thick cream product, so that's going to make it easier to pick up the product. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my brush in there and then just press a little bit and blend that right into and above the contour. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more on this side to make it even. Okay. And for a highlight, I'm going to use the LA Girl Strobe Light Strobing Powder in 120 watt. And this is the lightest shade. It's pretty much a white. And I'm going to use this e.l.f. highlighting brush. And I'm just going to sweep that right across the top of my cheekbones and then up a little bit into the temple area. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Wet n Wild paint pot in white, and this is also part of the new Wet n Wild Halloween collection. And I'm going to just take a little bit of this with my ring finger and use that as an eyeshadow primer. This white one I would recommend. The black one that I bought, I do not recommend. It creased a little bit. Later in the day, I looked at my makeup when I used that and I saw some creasing. This white one does not, though. So just FYI on that. And I'm gonna, because this is white, I'm gonna take this over the entire area. But just be careful not to use too much, because that would be one reason why you could get creasing, is if you were to use too much. So just use a small amount and make sure that you blend it evenly over the entire area. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into this LA Girl Strobe Light Strobing powder in 120 watt, and I'm going to take this e.l.f. contour brush, and I'm going to put a little bit of that as my brow bone highlight. And I'm going to put a little bit as an inner corner highlight. And then I'm going to take something that is not new. This is Benefit Hoola Bronzer. I've been using this as a crease shade for my eyeshadow, and it's been working out great because it has a nice soft texture to it, so it's not easy to blend. And I'm just going to use this e.l.f. blending brush to apply it. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that, and I am going to tap off the excess because it's a little bit powdery. And I'm just going to start on the outside edge of the contour or crease area and then move inward. Just like that. And do the other side. And now I'm just blending out what is there. Okay, that's better. Now I'm going to take this Wet n Wild ColorIcon Loose Pigment in Pegasus Flutter. They brought this back for the Halloween collection, and it was in the summer collection, so you've had two chances now to find this. I never found the summer collection, so I was thrilled to see that these pigments, I'm just dumping some into the cap. I was thrilled to see that they had brought these back for people who never found the summer collection. Gave us all a second chance. And now I'm just going to take an e.l.f. blending brush and I'm going to swirl the brush in the cap and tap off the excess and put that on my lids. I think out of the 4 pigments that were on that Halloween display, there were the 3 from the summer collection and then there was a gold. I think this one is my favorite. It's the easiest to work with. It's the most practical color for me. The blue one is very messy. It's got gold reflex in it and the reflex just go everywhere when you use it. This just straight up gold pigment is, it isn't anything special. You know, I think I might even have something very similar already. So that isn't anything special. And then the purple one is sort of a dark, bright purple. And I do like it, but it's a pretty intense color, and I don't feel like it's the most practical purple shade. So if I was only going to buy one, this is the one that I would get, is the pink one. And this is such a pretty pink because it borders on, it has like a hint of purple to it. It's just a nice, soft, subtle color that's not going to look too crazy. So I'm just patting that on my lids. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this is my favorite. That's Pegasus Flutter. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Wet n Wild ColorIcon Kohl eyeliner in Simma Brown Now. I just picked this up recently. This is part of the permanent line. These are like 99 cents. They're just a pencil, huge pencil eyeliner. And I'm going to put some of that right along my lower lash line. These are actually pretty easy to work with, and they last on your eyes really nice. So I'm just going right at the root of my lashes. Okay. And I just recently repurchased this after having had this a few years back. It's the Wet n Wild MegaProtein mascara. Really inexpensive. I think it was $2.99. And very nice mascara. Wet n Wild has really good mascaras, especially for the price. I don't think I've ever tried one that I haven't liked. The Renegade one, which I think is their newest one, that one was a little on the dry side, so that's probably my least favorite of what I've tried, but I like all the others that I've ever tried. Okay, I'm going to start with my lower lashes. I accidentally smudged it a little bit onto my skin. So I just clean that up off camera. Yeah, if you can get to that right away before it dries, it won't make a mess of your makeup. I always do the lower lashes first because if you do the top lashes first, when you change positions to do the lower lashes, sometimes you'll get transfer with not this mascara per se, but any mascara. So if you ever get transfer up above with your mascara, try doing the lower lashes first and it won't happen. Oh, I just got it on my eyelid. Now I gotta clean that up. Wow, that is not like me at all to get mascara on my skin. I think it's because I'm trying to do this and explain things as I go along, so I'm not focusing as well on what I'm doing here. Oh, I forgot to curl my lashes. I've got the lash curler sitting here right in front of me. Oh well, too late now. Yeah, you don't want to curl your lashes after you put the mascara on. That is not good for your eyelashes. Plus it gets the curler all dirty. So we'll have to forego the lash curling today. Yeah, this is really nice mascara for $3. Okay, now one of you had asked me in one of my haul videos about this brow kit, and boy am I glad I bought this, because now that my hair is a lot darker, that LA Colors Browy Wowie pencil, which I love, is a little light now. So I used this kit yesterday after I colored my hair, and it worked out great. I don't like the applicator, however. I don't like the applicator, so I'm going to use this, there's an angled brush and a spoolie on the other side. This came with another product that I had bought before. This is Ardell. So these brown shades on the bottom, I'm going to use the lighter one. And you're probably thinking, geez, you should use the darker one. No. A lot of times with brow powders, they go on darker than what they appear in the pan. And that is the case with this one. So I'm going to use the lighter brow powder. And I didn't use the wax. I don't typically in kits like this use the wax. I usually just use the powder. I've sort of trained myself not to touch my makeup once I do it. I think that's why I like pomades and creams though, because it already has like the wax built into it. So as you can see, this is going on really smoothly. The color is actually quite good for my darker hair. So yeah, thank goodness I bought this, because I have a few brow products, but not that many. So it's funny because when I opened this up after I bought it and really looked at it, I thought, no, those colors aren't going to be right. But boy, it's a good thing that I got it. One thing that I don't like about brow powders is they're more time consuming to do. If I was using that Browy Wowie pencil, I'd be done right now. So you have to be you know, take your time a little bit more with brow powder. But the end result is very nice. I'm going to do the other one off camera to try to save some time. And then once I have the powder on, I just flip this over and take the spoolie and just brush it up. And then I go over the brow and smooth out the top like that. So I go up and then over. So this is really nice. And the color range, they have 3 different kits. And I think no matter what color your brows were or what color you were trying to match up with your hair or get it within that ballpark, I think you would find something within those 3 kits that would work for you. Although right now, the only reason why this works as well as it does is because I did go darker. And as you can see, my brows still aren't as dark as my hair, but you know, I could have had the option of using the darker one if I wanted to, but I don't like my brows to be too dark, no matter what my hair color is. So I like this. I'm happy with this. Okay, so what is left? The only thing that is left is my lips, and one of you had left a comment about this in one of my recent haul videos that there were a couple things that I didn't know about this product. This is the Wet n Wild Megalast Iridescent Lip Color in the shade Unicorn Soul. This came out in the summer collection by Wet n Wild, but it's also in the Halloween collection. And it's blue, so it looks like it would be crazy, but what I did not know, thank you so much for letting me know, is if you twist it up all the way, there is a picture of a unicorn on it, which I know that you won't be able to see that. All you can see is like maybe some blurriness there, but there is a unicorn right there. And I didn't see that because I would never twist my lipstick up this far and then use it because it would snap off. So I'm going to twist it back down. And the other thing that that person told me about is it goes on blue, but then it changes to pink. I didn't know that it transformed like that. So let's put some of this on. And I'm not going to, last time I used this, or well, a few times back, I lined and filled in my lips with a lip liner. I'm not going to do that this time so that you can see the color that it changes to. Now I think it's one of those situations where it reacts to your body chemistry, and it's possible that the color that you get might be different depending on what color your lips are and your body chemistry. I think it's one of those types of lipsticks. So you don't need to do a lip liner under it if you don't want to, because you can still see like the edges of my lips. I think I'm going to put a little more. Just going to put a little bit more on the top because I feel like I had put more on the bottom. Okay, so there you go. There's many of the new products that I hauled in those other videos. And that is it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.